Welcome to today's Fit Break. Today we are doing a program to help release our hip flexors and actually get a little bit of mobility into our ankles. Often when our ankles don't have the right amount of movement, it creates a domino effect, causing pain in our knees, pain in our hips, pain in our backs. So I'm going to take you through a little series using the flat TheraBand. If you don't have a band, you can use a towel. But let's go ahead and we're going to get started. All right, so we're going to begin laying down on our backs. We're going to take that band and place it right around the ball of our foot and try and make sure that the band goes over your toes. All right, and I'm going to choke up on the band so I have a decent amount of tension. Now my supporting leg, my knee can be bent or it can be straight. It's wherever it feels best on the hips. So I'm going to take my leg and lower it about halfway down, and then bend and press. Flexing my foot as I bring my knee in, and then extending and pointing as much as I can through my ankle. So I'm getting that called dorsiflexion and plantar flexion. So just movement in my foot, movement in my ankle, and it makes my calf have to start to work a little bit. We're doing about 10 reps of each spot. And I'm gonna hold that leg out, supporting it with the band, and now I'm just gonna flex and point about 10 times. And I'm focusing on working through my toes, and I'm laughing because my toes don't want to cooperate. You might find that the first few times you do it, that you're telling your foot to move and it doesn't quite follow directions. Super normal. Now I'm going to take that leg and just go straight up and then lower it down. My upper arms are staying on the floor so that when I'm lowering my leg, I'm actually pressing my leg into the band and trying to get that glute and hamstring to fire up and do a little bit of work. Ideally, the band is doing the work to lift the leg up. So I'm trying to relax my quadricep. That's the top of my thigh. Easier said than done. Okay, lifting that leg up. And now I'm going to do ankle rotations. Rotate my foot in, out, and around. 5 each direction. More is better. So if you can, go to 10. Okay, now I'm just gonna hold that leg up, and now I'm taking the strap into my right hand. My left arm's gonna open out for balance. Now, sliding that supporting leg in, I'm gonna guide my leg through circles. Now the reason why I bent my knee is that this is a little bit easier position to hold my pelvis in place, and that's the point. And then I'm gonna just circle the other way, and I'm trying to let that leg go heavy, and my arm and the strap are doing the work so that I'm bringing circulation into that hip flexor. Now I'm gonna try a set with that leg straight. And my goal here is to keep my pelvis still and not let myself rock side to side. So it's really hard to just do muscle engagement to make that happen. And if your hip flexor is super duper tight, switch directions. Your pelvis is going to rock side to side. So make that circle smaller. And then as you keep doing this and your range of motion gets bigger, you'll be able to make the circle bigger. Okay, we're gonna hold right there. Now, open that left arm out to the side And then that right leg is going to open and close. And again, modification. Keep the supporting leg bent. I'm slightly rotating that leg outward just a bit, a little bit of external rotation. Keep that left hip on the ground. Now one more time, I'm gonna open and stay there for a couple deep breaths, a couple being 5. So I did 5 times open and close, and now I'm getting a deep stretch through my inner thigh, but I'm just opening that leg to the point where that left hip stays on the ground. Now I'm gonna bring that leg up. I'm gonna cross over, so I'm switching hands. Right arm's gonna open out for balance, and I'm gonna cross that leg over. Now I'm gonna do a movement called nerve flossing. So my right foot is gonna rotate down towards the floor and then back up towards the ceiling. So it's inversion and eversion, like a windshield wiper. And it's gonna be a lot of sensation up the side of your leg. A friend of mine says, oh, it hurts so good. And she's right. If you have sciatica, this sometimes can help relieve it. It depends on where the root issue of the sciatica is. But sometimes this can do it. Okay, let's bring that leg back up. Woo! And we're gonna take our foot out of that band and then rest our leg to the ground. And then right here, just take that right leg into some heel slides. Slide the foot out and slide it back in. Now this is a very passive hip flexor release. Hopefully this feels like you're not doing much of anything. So if you found that when you were doing the circles, your quadricep was really gripping, really getting tight, that just means that hip flexor needs a little more TLC, and you can skip the circles and just do this heel slide. That'll work. Gonna do that a couple more times. And then from here, I'm gonna take my left arm overhead. I'm gonna roll over on my left side and bring my foot back towards my hip and take my foot in my hand. Tuck my tailbone, press my foot into my hand so I'm engaging my quadricep. I'm just gonna hold that quadricep stretch. Friggin' 5 deep breaths, in through the nose, and out through the mouth. Just take your breath into your back and into your sides. Release and roll onto your back. We're going to do the other side. So we were focusing on getting circulation and mobility into the hip flexor, and then we just stretch the quadricep. So we're actually not worrying about stretching the hip flexor, because sometimes when it is super duper tight, it won't even stretch. So we actually need to get it to move a little bit first. So I've got that band up around the ball of my foot. My supporting leg can be bent or straight. I'm going to lower that leg about halfway down and then start with my bend and press. Flexing my foot as I bring the leg in, extending and then pointing my toes. Or at least getting into a little bit of plantar flexion. Go. Start practicing synchronizing your breath and your movement. Inhale as you bring the leg in. Exhale as you extend and point your toes. The breath helps bring us back into connection with our mind and our bodies. And then the breath also helps us feel what's going on a bit more. Let's press that leg out and hold. And then we're gonna flex and point those toes a few times. Few being 10. If you are a walker or a runner or a cyclist, this is a great series to do. Maybe at the end of the day. I do it lying in bed when I'm watching TV. And the more consistent I am with this, the better my body feels as I'm running. Now I'm going to take that leg and do a straight leg lift and lower. Again, if you're noticing that you have any discomfort, bend your knee. Keep that supporting leg in a little more neutral position. That just helps keep the pelvis in what we call neutral. And when we add a position that is a progression, it should enhance the sensation. It should make the sensation feel better, not worse, not add tension. It should take tension away and maybe feel a little more effort, but effort's different than tension. Let's bring that leg up. Now we're going to do our ankle rotations. 5 is good, 10 is better. And switch. Okay, I'm going to take that strap into my left hand and open my right arm out for balance. And I'm going to slide that foot in, and I'm going to do my first set a little bit easier, where I'm guiding my leg through those circles. And I'm sending that signal to my quadricep, relax, relax, relax. So trying to have that leg go dead into the strap. And the strap and my hand are doing the work of guiding my leg through those circles. Let's switch directions. Stabilizing for my pelvis. And yes, I am engaging my abdominals, but really my range of motion is going to be determined by just my ability to keep my hips stable. Now I'm going to progress it, slide that leg out. So if I'm noticing that I'm rocking and rolling all over the place, I'm going to make my circle smaller. As that hip flexor begins to release, you'll be able to do it. And notice my circles ain't that big. All right, we're going to switch directions. And if the quadricep is really starting to grip, or your hip flexor is really starting to grip, skip this and just take it to your heel slides. It'll happen. Okay, now we're going to open that leg out to the side and then bring it right back in. We're going to open and close about 5 times. Think about that right side anchoring down into the floor as if you have sandbags or bricks resting. And that left leg is slightly turned out, a little external rotation. And let's open that leg out to the side, and we're going to stay. If you need more sensation, bring that foot higher up towards your shoulder. Woo. Just feel the muscles of your back, of your neck, and your shoulders melt into the floor. And we're going to bring that leg up, cross over, take the strap in the other hand, and now take it into our nerve flossing. We're going to take those toes and rotate them down towards the floor and then up towards the ceiling. So the foot's doing this side-to-side action, windshield wiper. And you're going to feel that sensation go all the way from your ankle up into your hip. Not as tough on this side. My other side, I have a lot of sensation. And we're going to bring that leg back up. Woo, take the band off our foot. Bend both knees, and now I'm going to take that left leg and just do a few of those heel slides. This particular movement is excellent to do every day, especially if we sit at a desk a little bit too much. Exhale as we slide the foot out. Inhale as we slide the leg back in. Let's take that right arm overhead. We're going to roll over onto our right side, support our head with our arm, and bring that foot back. Tuck our tailbone, and then press your foot gently into your hand to deepen that stretch in your quadricep. And 5 deep breaths. And let that leg go. And that is it for today. A little mobility series to help release our hips, help strengthen our ankles and get a little more mobility into our ankles, and just stretch some of those tight muscles. All right, you have a great rest of your day, and I will see you next time. Bye.